Hello and welcome to Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross with club legends Sebastien Le Toux and Sheanon Williams. I'm Sage Hurley. The Union are in need of a reset coming into this weekend, looking to put both last Saturday's loss to Vancouver and Tuesday's defeat in the U.S. Open Cup to Nashville in the rearview mirror. Seba, is this Bradley Carnell's biggest challenge yet?
Yeah, maybe just because the fact that we are so close now to the end of the season. 4 games left. We are, still first in the Shield, but like you say, 2 tough losses. One in Vancouver with maybe the worst game of the season for the team, losing 7-0, and then, very hurtful, loss in Open Cup to not be able to go to the final. So it's a bit more mental now for the team, and maybe, yes, Bradley Carnell might need a little different recipe to try to have the team reacted, but every time they had to and they came back to Subaru Park, they did well. So I really hope, for another great reaction for the team on Saturday.
Sheanon, during tough stretches, coaches often lean on leaders to help get their locker room back on the right track. Who are some of those players in this Union locker room that you think need to step up in that way in the coming weeks?
I think definitely the team captains. We talk about Alejandro Bedoya, we talk about Andre Blake, Jacob Glesnes. These are guys that need to sit down, hit the reset button with this group, and make sure that they're focused in for these last 4 games. Sometimes these losses can really help you, like we talked about, hit that reset button and really start over to give yourself some runway before you hit playoffs.
Well, despite the loss to Vancouver, the Boys in Blue still lead the Supporters Shield race with 4 games to play. Miami are still lurking in the background with those games in hand, but for now, the Union still control their own destiny, though the margin of error is a lot smaller. Seba, let's talk big picture. First, push has come to shove with Miami. They play 5 games in 15 days, which started on Tuesday. 2 of those are road trips. Could they conceivably make a run up the standings?
I mean, you never know with Miami. I think it's going to be very difficult for them. Like you said, there's so many games going. Physically, they're going to be tired, after a long season as well for the Miami team. They could be there, but I think the Union just need to focus on themselves. Like you say, we are still above 2 points, on the East from Cincinnati. We have, 1 point right now on San Diego. Let's just take care of the business at home, on Saturday and see 1 game at a time. I know Bradley Carnell and the team have been always kind of thinking about kind of making some blocks of game, during the season, maybe a 4-game block. It could be, at the end for them. How many points you think, they could need to get to be able to be first in the East and maybe win the Shield? I think it's the way the team is going to kind of go through the last 4 games of the season, and it start, of course, I think for 6 points at home on Saturday against New England, and then when they play in 2 weeks against New York City FC.
Sheanon, the Union are playing 2 teams that aren't above the playoff line in the coming weeks. How important is it to get all 6 points from those matches?
It's really important. You want to make sure that you're winning the games against the teams that aren't in the playoffs. Those are the times that you have to pick up points, and you're so desperate for points right now. I know the Union still control their own destiny, but they're going to understand that if they drop points anywhere, that their first place could slip out of their hands. And I think it's so important, not only for their Supporters Shield, but also for the playoff run, to have that home field advantage and to be in front of your home fans to try to make a good run.
Specifically on New England, they moved on from head coach Caleb Porter this weekend. Assistant coach Pablo Moreira will serve as interim for the rest of the season. What kind of wrinkle does that bring to the game?
I mean, we all know, like, and Sheanon, you have been sometime in the team when you are already out of the playoffs. They are very close, and I think they're not going to make playoffs this year. But they play for their job. They know whoever is coming, next season as a head coach is going to try to rebuild. Is going to want to, see guys who do well at the end of the year. So whoever is playing for New England on Saturday are going to play hard to show what they can do to stay in this club. So it's not going to be an easy game. It's kind of like a weird game to finish the season. But being at home, they need to pass that the Union and just play their own style and get the 3 points.
New England comes to town having won only 1 game on the road since May. It should be a beautiful day at Subaru Park. How important is it to get the crowd involved early and make sure that they're loud in the stadium to support the Boys in Blue?
It's going to be huge. Obviously, these last 4 games are really important, and it's going to start on Saturday against New England, and this crowd can play a big part in it. Getting them into the game early on with just being on the front foot, making sure that you're having some shots on goal and doing the little things right to get them going. That can really help you, especially when you're in a tough stretch.
Seba, in your experience, how important is it to have fan support at this part of the season, especially after 2 difficult losses?
I mean, as player, you always, want to have your own team behind you, and I think the fans should still, of course, supporting the team as strong as they can because we are first. Yes, it was a tough week to get, 2 losses, but when you're a player and every stadium, not just Son of Ben, but everybody is really cheering on for you to, keep the last push, get the extra energy to get a goal. It's always, like an extra boost for the team. So I'm expecting to have hopefully a nice Subaru Park rocking. It's a different time for that game, a 2:30 p.m. game. So it's going to be fun, and hopefully the team can get back on track with the 3 points and then finishing the season with the last 3 games.
How much do you think it matters to this Union team to provide a win for the fans after those 2 losses at home in front of fans in a crowd that will be supporting them?
I mean, I don't think it's about the fans. I think it's about themselves. I think they just need to get back on track to get the 3 points, to get back in the confidence to really finish the season strong. Of course, being at home help, and of course the fans, want it. But they have been proving the entire season. Let's not forget we are still first in the East. And if you ask anybody that, at the beginning of the year, nobody will have sons of Philadelphia Union being first of the East, first of the rest of the Shield. So they're in a great position. They're in the driver's seat, and now they just need to try to get a full performance at home to get back to where they've been playing the entire season.
We're back in a flash as we head to break. Here's this week's trivia question presented by United Concordia. Kai Wagner made his 200th appearance last weekend. How many other Union players have reached that milestone? The answer is later in our show. Union Insider is back after this. Back with a look at Bruno Damiani's first season with the Union. The striker has had some bright moments, scoring 5 regular season goals, including the game winner in Cincinnati a few weeks ago. He's also a top 5 in the league this season in headed shots. Let's talk a little bit more about the Union's record signing striker, Bruno Damiani. Seba, it's been a bit of a mixed bag for the Uruguayan this year. I mentioned that Cincinnati goal. How do you evaluate his first season with the club?
I personally like him. I think, for a first season, he's still young, 23 years old. He has been, I think, a good addition to the team. It takes time, to kind of get the rhythm of this league, kind of knowing a little bit for him, especially like the referee, because you can see he's a tough forward who like to fight, who like to be physical, and sometimes, the referee are not, going this way. We saw a bit last week, like when he got an early yellow card in the Open Cup. But I kind of like the way he's playing, holding the ball for the team, getting some good fouls at the midfield. And then, of course, yes, we would love to see him, being more, having goals for the team. Right now, he just have 5, but I can see he's coming. And what I like about him too, he fit kind of like the Philly spirit. I really like how fighting he is, like the grinta, like we say, in Spain, that you fight for every ball, and the goal is going. It was kind of like an image of that. So I'm still, really feeling that he still learn a lot this year about the league, and hopefully, in the last stretch of the game, plus in a playoff, we are going to see maybe more goals from him, because at the end of the day, even if he score maybe just 8 or 9, the last one or the winning goal for a playoff, it's always the one you remember. So I'm pretty happy about what I saw, but you can see that, yes, he's still young. His emotion sometimes take a little bit out of himself, and he got some yellow card, a silly one where he should not. But I kind of look forward to see him, and his progression keep going to have maybe a better year next year.
Sheanon, as a defender, what are the challenges of going up against a physical presence like Damiani?
Yeah, he's a player that is going to challenge you and chase you and tackle you every time you have the ball. And for a defender, that's a nuisance for you. And he definitely plays his part in that role, and that's something that he can bring to the game. I know everybody's going to look at the goal totals and think that that's all that he's there to do, but there's so much other ways that he can impact the game, and he's done a good job of doing that. Like Seba talked about, his hold-up play, his challenging for balls. I think that is all so important when it comes to a forward. He's still very young. He's in a new place, new country, and the things that are outside of soccer take some time as well. It's not only what's on the pitch, it's what's also outside, and his support system and how that's going. I've seen his family at a bunch of the games, so I think he's settling in well, and you're still going to see the best of what he has to offer this club.
Where do you think he has room to grow in the rest of this season and then in the seasons ahead?
I mean, we are going to see, I will say, maybe put himself in a better position in the box. No, you can see that sometimes, it's more like the Baribo who is finishing the opportunity. So can he be as well, in the box to finish this opportunity? But at the end, I think it's just to learn, the way I think Brian Hurley wants to play. I think he did a tremendous, work defensively, and that's why you saw so many other goal scorers of the team, because from his job, from the pressing, then give, some space for maybe a late run of a midfielder or center midfield, and you saw him kind of like being always at the beginning of those opportunities. So I will say, of course, for him is to be more in the box and finish, but it's because I think all the work he did earlier.
Do you have a favorite moment from him so far this season?
For me, it's the Cincinnati goal. I think it just showed really who he is as a forward, and the way, the movement he did on the goal, kind of like fighting in front of the defender who really believed he was going to get the ball, and just the how you say in English, like the desire of really wanting to score, and like the smashing header. It's kind of like what make me feel that he's in a perfect club for him, and hopefully he will get more and more success.
Moving on, it's become a yearly tradition around the Union locker room, getting together and seeing where your teammates stack up in the rankings for that year's EAFC game. Well, the results are in for 2025, and they are hilarious.
You gotta have some time to catch up to me. I'm a 68, that's how the ladder works.
Are you kidding me?
Pace. I see two. That's cool. Nah, this is not accurate.
Yeah, it is, bro. It's rare.
Accurate.
My pace, it is.
That's not correct.
Who's the highest first? It is 80. No respect. Who do that?
Guys are shooting 36.
Jesus.
Dude, get wrecked, bro.
My shooting. Yeah, your shooting. They gave you no respect for your shooting, bro. That's messed up.
Dude, get wrecked, bro.
No, 60. This is my first time in the game.
Time?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
66 is actually good.
You've never been in the game before?
No.
That's actually crazy.
What? I'm not that fast. No, that's a lie.
What an ugly face. I love it.
Thanks for the inclusion, guys.
Dear boy. 45. Speed.
Yeah, that kind of did you dirty on that.
Big time.
I would say at least
They didn't see me
65.
burn Fafo down in Miami. They were paying attention.
Dude, get wrecked, bro.
Moved up from a bronze, that's all. I think that's all you can ask for.
I guess you need to be old to be good.
No.
50's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy I'm in the game.
53 pace? Oh, I got one more pace than Jacob. Hey, did you not see me with Bamba? That guy couldn't even get past me.
If there was a stat for Banner, I should be giving guys aces.
That was too good. Guys, first I have to ask, were either of you in an edition of FIFA, or as it's now called, EAFC?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've been, in few with Sheanon. Every time it didn't look like me, but it was. I think we had some.
I'm still playing as myself, so I'm still in the game. At least if I need to create a player, I will find my way into the game.
All right. I'm not very good at FIFA or EA, whatever the name is.
EAFC?
Yes.
I think my favorite part of that video was the players seeing themselves for the first time. Some of the players who might have been new this season, seeing their card. Do you remember the first time you ever got to play as yourself?
Yeah, I did, and it was fun. It's always, as a kid, you always think about it when, in the day, we play like the video game. We are so much better now, but it's always, funny to see yourself. And like Sheanon said, I'm sure, he was a defender and I was a forward, but he probably put himself as a striker, so he wanted to score the goal and see his celebration.
Let's take a quick break. Up next, we'll delve back into tomorrow's matchup and get Seba and Sheanon's key to a Union victory over New England. Union Insider returns after this. We're back with this week's Union Update presented by Torque. Three-time goalkeeper of the year, Andre Blake has returned to training and could soon be back between the six. The Jamaican international has been out since leaving the match against the Red Bulls a few weeks ago. Welcome back with Seba and Sheanon. I'm Sage Hurley. It's time for our keys to the match presented by Subaru. Seba, what you got?
For this game, we play a New England team who is kind of really struggling right now, just fired their coach. So can we not play at the level of this team? It's been kind of like a little thing for the team this year. When we play a team who is a bit like not in a playoff race, we kind of let them hang in a game. So I would love to see a lot of energy from the team, maybe scoring early and a second goal and try to put New England game really out of the game early in the first half, and we can really have a great performance and more confidence coming from the entire team. But if we stay and we let New England play in this game and we are not as strong defensively and putting some energy into it, we can let them hang and maybe they will score. So I would like to see them raise the bar of the level in this game.
What do you think, Sheanon? What's your key to a Union win?
For me, I've got to look at the past 2 games, and I want this team to be tough to break down. I think in these past 2 games, we've given up 10 goals, and it's been a lot of getting behind our defense, lack of marking in the box. This team's got to do a better job getting back to their bread and butter, which is being a good defensive team, pitching shutouts, and then letting their offense contribute after that. I think if they can do that and get back to their defensive stoutness, that they can get 3 points at home.
While New England hasn't had a great season, they still have Carlos Gil. He has double-digit goal contributions for the 5th straight season this year. What makes him such a dangerous player, and how do you think the Union need to contain him?
For me, it's just the fact that he pops up in so many different places, and it's hard to just put one person on him. It's got to be a team effort, knowing where he's at, limiting his touches on the ball, and making sure that he plays backwards. I think if they can do that, they can limit his effect on the game and what he can bring to this Revolution team.
So I mentioned Andre Blake has returned to training. How important is it to have him around the locker room and around the guys, and what kind of impact could he make if he comes back in the next couple of games?
I mean, we always talk about it. I think first his experience, being a goalkeeper for the league in a long time, all the success he has. But then I think it's for me, and I always said it, it's for the other team. When you know that Andre is behind the sticks, like you say, it's all mentors. They know it's going to be, Andre is in the goal. It's going to be even tougher to score today. So he can even more confidence to the back line. He makes the other team kind of doubting themselves about if they can score today. So it's all about those little things mentally that help the team and the confidence of the back line.
Now, you mentioned mental and confidence. Let's talk about that in relation to this game. How important is 3 points and getting this team back on the right track mentally, and how do you think that it could impact the stretch going forward if they are able to get the win?
I mean, it's the only thing I think the guys are thinking about. It's kind of like moving on for what happened last week, getting back on track at home, getting the 3 points, and really, just focusing. I think the next goal for the team is to try to get a home advantage during the playoff, and start, with the win against New England. So let's try to get this as quick as possible, and then maybe we can think about, the Shield at the end of the year.
One final break to sneak in. We'll put a wrap on this edition of Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross after a short break. Back with the answer to this week's trivia question presented by United Concordia. Kai Wagner made his 200th appearance last weekend. How many other Union players have reached that milestone? The answer is 4. Alejandro Bedoya, Andre Blake, Jack Elliott, and Ray Gaddis. Final segment here on Union Insider. Seba and Sheanon back with me to wrap things up. Let's get right to this week's final whistle topic brought to you by Allstate. Who was the teammate that made each of you laugh the most?
You go first.
For me, I'm going to pick Marisa Dew. I know, Mo, you're watching out here, so always had a good time in our team meetings and always brought just such good fun and laughter to the team. And in a moment that the Union are in now, they could use somebody like Mo to come back and give some guys some good jokes. So hopefully the vibes are still good in this Union locker room, but Mo was definitely one of those guys for me that always brought those vibes.
Yeah, and for me, I have a lot of guys, of course, were funny, in the locker room. But the guy next to me right here had some jokes. Should I say one of the jokes you just did? One time he erased my name on the team going to the trip, and I was like, "What's going on? Like, my name is not here." So I went to see the coach at that time, John Ackworth, and he was like, "No, you're in the team." And of course, he was that guy right here who just erased my name. So he's a jokester, but I didn't like it at that time.
Positivity is so important going into this weekend. Let's talk about this year's team. Who do you think would be named the class clown of the 2025 season?
I mean, I'm not, with them every day, but what we can see from, all the little video from the team, I will say maybe between the Lukic and the Vasilev are probably like the two new guys in the team trying to, to get the atmosphere, fun for everybody. And when you saw, the little videos the team are putting on this show, it's usually the two who are always try to get a laugh out of everybody.
What do you think, Sheanon?
I think it's got to be Indy Vasilev. I think he's always stirring something up and always bringing that energy, and I think that is so contagious for the group, and I think he's been a great addition for that reason.
Indiana Vasilev is my vote. Dark horse, though, Frankie Westfield, hear me out. Philly through and through.
He's got that real Philly vibe about him. He's definitely up there. I think him and some of the other guys really mesh well in their personalities, and I think that's carried them to their success so far this season.
All right, guys, final thoughts heading into this weekend. What do you think, Seba?
I'm thinking it's going to be a good rebound game for the team. I'm thinking 3 points. I'm thinking a full performance from the boys and, stay number one in the East.
What do you think?
Great way to bounce back against a team that's struggling right now, not only with their form, but also with their coaching staff. And this is the time that you want to be playing your best, need to pick up 3 points. It's important here at home.
A 2:30 p.m. match at Subaru Park. It's Kick Childhood Cancer Night. It should be a great day for the team to get 3 points and start to bounce back. With that, we wrap things up on this week's Union Insider. For Sebastien Le Toux, Sheanon Williams, our entire team, I'm Sage Hurley. Thanks so much for watching. We're back same time next week. See you then.